My name is Nils Lindgren. I'm the CFO, and we are a partner for predictive maintenance in critical infrastructure. Quick overview of the agenda, and I'll start with our customers, because they are the most important thing. We have over 100 customers in 9 countries, and we have been serving these customers with our solutions since 2002. All these customers are grid owners, electricity grid owners, and they are all serving us. We are not their customers, we are subscribers to their services, because all these companies are monopolies. There's only one electricity jacket, and that is from one of these, and it's mainly in Levio here in Stockholm, I understand, which is one of our customers. So in the past 12 months, we have prevented over 5,500 incidents for our customers. We have reduced their CO2 emissions by over 50,000 kilos. And we have ensured that they could empty the transformer bunds environmentally safe with over 85,000 cubic meter of clean, guaranteed clean water. So we ensure that the maintenance work can be carried out optimally and with increased degrees of automation. And this we do through technology, AI, sensors, and data, and most valuable is of course the analysis and the actionable insight that we provide our customers. So if we look quickly at the market where our customers operate, they are electricity distribution companies, as I said. All over Europe, electricity grid looks exactly the same. It's all connected in Europe. All over the world, the electricity grid looks more or less the same. I've been working with electricity for over 20 years, and in the last year, I've actually been having conversations over dinner or in the changing room with people not in this industry about electricity grids. Everyone is aware of the challenges we have in the electricity grid. The electricity grid in Sweden has been built out for over 120 years, or all over Europe, all over the world. And what we see now is that we have to double the size, or double the capacity of the electricity grid in the next 20 years in Sweden to meet the demand. So it's going to be a huge challenge. See, some things have disappeared here in the graphics, but over the last decade in Europe, we've invested about 23 billion euros per year in the electricity grid that we saw in the previous picture. So every year, on average, 23 billion. What happens now, when we need to increase the investments in the grid, is going to grow massively. So somewhere between 50 to 70%, we need to increase the investments in the electricity grid to meet the future demands. So then the figure will actually be 1 billion or 1.1 billion krona per day needs to be invested in the electricity grid in Europe. And this is to meet an increased demand. Just in Sweden, we will more than double the next 20 years. And to do that, we need to integrate more renewable resources. We need to increase the flexibility and quality in the grid. We cannot just build one more grid. We have to use the grid we have and use it more efficiently. And the grid has been invested, it's been there for 120 years. These assets last for a very long time. We need to digitalize these assets that are in the grid. So this is a schematic view of the grid, how it looks. 20 years ago, the picture was quite more simple. We have hydro and nuclear in Sweden on the production side, and we had industry and normal consumers on the consumption side. What we see is that this picture is becoming more and more complex as we have renewable resources that are intermittent. We have more prosumers in the systems, so more and more demands are being put into the different nodes in the systems. And we are active in the substation, which is really the connecting nodes of the system. And coming back a little bit to the growth of electricity demand, it's driven by UN global goals to become more sustainability. We have to get rid of fossil-fueled electricity generation. We need to electrify and digitalize our everyday. That's what we do. And if we then see a little bit more on how our monopolies, our grid owners, are operating, they are controlled by legal and regulatory frameworks that decide how much they can charge us as subscribers to their services. So if we look a little bit, as they were talking about earlier, what is the problem? What is the issue? And some of my graphics have disappeared here. But if we start with the node, the substation, the blue circle here, that's how it looks on that schematic view that we looked at. In reality, it looks much more different. It's a construction that consists of different equipment, different structures and other items. Usually outside. The grid owner seldom owns the land it's on. It's a leased land. Creates more complexity. Where we started really is on the transformer side, so this big box here on the left. This transformer, like most transformer, is cooled by oil. Oil cannot leak out into the nature, so underneath the transformer, you build a transformer bund. And the function of that bund is to collect all the oil in the transformer in case of a breakdown. This transformer bund is covered by stones. That's to decrease the conductivity of the station. And behind that concrete wall, there's another transformer. It's outside, it rains. The transformer bund fills up with water. That water has to be emptied out, so there's always enough room in transformer bund for the oil in case of a breakdown. So what happens? This spilled glass here, the incident. The way this was done, we're talking 20 years ago and still today in some cases, a service technician drives out here. It might be a 2-hour drive. Here in the middle of Sweden, up north, it can be half a day's drive to get to one of these stations. Hopefully he had all the right tools with him. He went down, and at the end here, just under the red there's a small inspection thing. You can look down and said, yeah, it's clean. Put down a pump and pumped out 20 cubic meter of oil polluted water right into that bathing lake behind. So this grid owner then got mandated by the authorities. You have thousands of these transformer bunds. You have to empty them by deposit car. That costs thousands of kronas per cubic meter. You might have, as I said, 20 cubic meters of water in just one of these. So huge cost to the grid owner. The grid owner then came to us, or to Janne and Fredrik, the two founders of the company, and asked, can you move the decision from this individual service technician to a technology, a tool? And can you send an automated protocol that shows that it was clean water? Janne and Fredrik was developing a measurement cell that was doing exactly this. So it was a perfect match. So they developed the SIP solution. And the picture behind that you're supposed to see first is a substation where we actually have 7 SIPs installed. So no need for the service technicians to go there by car, no need for him to bring the right tools, no need for him to make a decision. That is automatically done by our measurement cell and our connected solution. So we developed the first solution in 2002. We connected this solution to the cloud in 2006. And then it's really when we managed to have this analysis. So the service technician now doesn't have to drive the car, bring the tools, carry a hand pump, look down. He can now sit from the comfort of his desk or in his car visiting another site, and he knows everything about how the site looks. And we've been very, very focused on the transformer band. So the level here, 310 millimeters of water in the transformer band, so that never goes above a maximum level. And if it does, we pump out automatically. Our measurement cell makes sure that the water is clean. They get all this analysis on the transformer bands, but there's a lot of other structures and equipment on the transformer station. So we are working very closely with our customers. What can we do? How can we connect all this other equipment? So now we're working with the Ellevio to connect more equipment out on the substation. Here we have a specific project. We are going to connect all these circuit breakers here. Circuit breakers, to create a non-flammable environment, you use SF6 gas, a very good gas for that, but it's very harmful. It's more than 20,000 more harmful for the environment than CO2. And it's expensive. So they need to make sure that the SF6 gas is always there and that the pressure is the right. So now together with the Ellevio, we are putting up sensors at all these circuit breakers. And they are communicating then with our connected station that you see there, the white box. A LoRaWAN connected solution. So that's secure. It's been communicating with our customers for 15 years. So they know it, they know us. It's tested, well tested. Coming back to the circuit breakers, on that picture before, those circuit breakers, the brand name on them is ASEA. So it's not ABB or Hitachi, it's ASEA. That's how old those equipments are. And they're still making a big investment in making sure that they will be lasting for another 20 years. That's how important it is, because they have to focus on expanding the grid rather than maintaining the current grid. So we have the transformer band, we have the switch gear, and we're also together with Ellevio now putting up more sensors in the substation, really to get full control of the substations. We're going towards the connected substation. And they get all their services through our web app, or web interface or app. We can also, of course, integrate it with their solutions, own in-house developed or third party. What we see today is that they subscribe to our solution. So they buy the box, the white box, they buy a subscription, and on they go. A little bit quick about the company. So we were actually founded in 2002 when this grid owner came to us and asked for us to come up with a solution. We are based in Gothenburg. We are selling in-house developed solutions and services. We recently got ISO 2701 certified, IT security. We have grown quite well this year with good profitability. We have been profitable ever since we focused on this in 2016. We have outsourced our production within 2.5 hours drive of Gothenburg. So we are becoming scalable, but we still have good control over our production. If you look at our financials, we've had 3 slower years until this year. 2020, 2021 was because of the COVID pandemic, and 2019 because of fires in Australia. But they're like about 35 million is kind of minimum level. Because we have 3 revenue streams. The first is that we sell the equipment, the hardware. Then the customer signs up to a subscription to use our analytics. They pay yearly in advance. Some customers also pay 5 or 10 years in advance to get access to our analytics. So that's very good. And since we have hardware out there, that hardware consumes spare parts. Not much, but a little bit. So we have 3 revenue streams on every sale that we do. We have a cash position of about 10 million, so a relative strong cash position for such a small company that we are, and a good equity position. Looking at the management team and the board, the management team, out of 4 people, 3 people are customer facing on a daily basis. I'm the only one who doesn't get to meet the customers. The board, a very good board. We have the CEO of Insplorion. He's our chairman since almost 10 years now. And we have other knowledge from the industry and from building companies in our phase. We were listed on the Spotlight in June 2018. We have over 800 shareholders that owns that third of the company that is a free float. The rest is owned by the founders, management, and the 2 early investors in Chalmers Ventures and Iowa Holding. And if we look forward, where do we want to grow? We want to grow by increasing our penetration. So Ellevio, for example, is a good customer of ours. They're not using our solution at all their stations. So increasing the penetration with them or Vattenfall or any other one that we can do. The next thing is selling more services. As we are connecting more sensors in the substation, we can sell more services to them. And going internationally. We are now working very intense with establishing ourselves in the UK, which will be our 10th country of sales. And what we see is that we can manage to continue to grow by about 1 market, in additional international market per year, continue to be profitable. And over the last year, we've more than managed to reach and overshoot our financial targets. So to summarize, large global investments in infrastructure. Everyone is talking about electricity and electricity grid. I never thought that would happen, but it happens and every day, and we are all dependent on that for everything that we want to do and to remain sustainable. We are the market leader in Sweden for this. We have a good customer base of over 100 customers in 9 countries. And we offer an established and secure IT solutions in a growing market. And we're working, I think this is very important, very customer close and customer driven continuously to have sustainable innovation. And that makes us our customer's partner for predictive maintenance. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Nils. Just like you stated, there's lots going on in terms of electricity, the transition. We need to double the effect here and the output here in Sweden, for instance. So how do you make sure that you stay ahead of the game when it comes to, now we see storage, we see hydrogen, we see all sorts of solutions coming into, and you also mentioned the prosumer aspect.
Yes.
So how do you make sure you stay ahead of the game in terms of innovation? So you're really, you're really in there where it's needed, so to speak.
Absolutely. Now, coming back to what I said here, last point here, bullet point, we're working very, very closely with our customers to listen to their needs, try to see ahead what can happen next, and that way solving their problems.
Thank you. And also, of course, in the light of the current security situation, not to mention the European security situation in terms of cyber attacks and just attacks, how do you navigate in this field? You might not be able to say very much about it, but because I'm sure that's also a security aspect. But we do really need to be on top of this game too, right?
Absolutely. And all the pictures I showed, I never said where those substation was, and I cannot say that. Mm-hmm. So we're making sure that we comply to all security measures there are. We have just gone through ISO certification with IT.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Considering IT security. So that is very, very important. It's very, very high on the agenda. And it's very, very high on the agenda for our customers.
And higher, I assume, in the light of the war in Europe.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Well, best of luck. We need you.
Thank you.
That's for sure. Thank you.